Hello again, friends, and welcome to another edition of If This Car Could Talk. Today we're looking at a very nice example of a 1961 Ford Galaxie two-door club sedan, which we recently found on display at the fabulous Martin Auto Museum, located in the Phoenix, Arizona suburb of Glendale. One of the volunteers there told us that this car was recently donated to the museum by an out-of-state collector who's a good friend of the museum's founder, Mel Martin. The full-sized Fords from the mid-50s to the end of the 70s are among our favorites, so this car immediately drew us in. Let's talk about a car that's finding some favor with collectors and hot rodders alike, the 1961 Ford full-size line. The Galaxie name first appeared on a high-end, full-sized Ford model midway through the 1959 model year, in about December of '58. Because the space race with the Soviets was now in full swing, the name Galaxie evoked something cosmic or interstellar, perfect for a new model that had many astronomical features, like the afterburner taillights and the appearance of the steering wheel and gauge cluster. Of course, many other domestic models could be seen with these modern styling cues as well. In 1959, the top trim-level models were designated Fairlane 500, but when the Galaxie name was added midway through the year, it would now be a sub-series of the 500 models. Not all 500 models could be bought as a Galaxie. The new Galaxie was available in 6 distinct body styles, all of which sported the roofline and profile of the elegant 1959 Thunderbird. These models are the Club Victoria, two-door hardtop, the Town Victoria, four-door hardtop, the Club Sedan, a two-door sedan with a narrower than usual B-pillar, the Town Sedan, a four-door sedan also with a narrower B-pillar, the Galaxie Sunliner, a conventional two-door convertible, and a Galaxie Skyliner, otherwise known as a retractable hardtop. Ford immediately added the Galaxie designation to both of their open-air models for the rest of the year. In all other series, the Fairlane 500 continued to live on as its own series through the end of the 1959 model year. The entire 1959 Ford lineup of passenger car models and Thunderbirds won the prestigious gold medal for exceptional styling at the 1958 Brussels, Belgium World's Fair. This coveted award recognized these cars as the world's most beautifully proportioned cars. They were also dubbed as Thunderbird in looks, Thunderbird in luxury. Ford heavily promoted this award in their 1959 advertising campaign to highlight their more elegant styling than the dramatic bat fin styling of their 1959 Chevrolet models and the huge fins of the Cadillac and Chrysler products. By 1961, the American public was very familiar with the model name Galaxie and its unique spelling. For this year, Ford completely restyled these cars from their 1960 counterparts, just as they had done in 1960, compared to the 59 models. This year, Ford offered these cars in 20 separate and different models, including 6 different station wagons. By all accounts, the new Fairlanes and Galaxies for '61 were indeed handsome cars and sold quite well, accounting for 791,498 units for the year. Let's review all the different models. The base car was a Fairlane Custom 300, available either as a 2- or a 4-door sedan. They were only available in single-tone exterior colors, along with 3 different cloth and vinyl interior motifs in either blue, gray, or green, all with a rubber floor mat. Armrests were only found on the front doors. They didn't have any side window chrome, nor did they have a hood lip molding. They weren't even mentioned in any showroom literature except the police and taxicab specific brochures only referenced by fleet buyers needing basic transportation. Next up was the Fairlane, also available only as a 2-door or 4-door sedan, with all the same equipment specs discussed on the Custom 300. The base body codes for the Custom 300, the Fairlane, and the Fairlane 500 models were 64 for the 2-door and 58 for the 4-door cars. These 3 series did have chrome front and rear glass trim because the rubber seals were designed to work in conjunction with the moldings. It should also be mentioned that these cars all had a wraparound convex-style rear window, which differed greatly from the Galaxie series. A step above these cars was the Fairlane 500, also available only as a 2-door or 4-door sedan. Exterior color choices were all still single tone, along with now 5 interior color choices of brown, blue, gray, green, and turquoise in vinyl and nylon cloth. Both front and back seat passengers got armrests in the 500. These cars also got a full-length hood lip molding and chrome trim around all the windows. The entry-level Galaxie was also seen as either a 2-door or a 4-door sedan. As mentioned, the rear window design changed dramatically between the Fairlanes and Galaxies, so their basic body codes would also be different. In the Galaxie, the 2-door sedan was a 62, while 54 designated a 4-door sedan. There were no other models in this series. The top-of-the-line series was called Victoria, a Starliner Sport hardtop, body 63, a traditional 2-door hardtop, body 65, a traditional 4-door hardtop, body 75, and finally, the stunning Sunliner convertible, body 76. Finally, 6 different wagons, all intended to correspond with their passenger car equivalent trim level, were called either ranch wagon, country sedan, or the high-end country squire. Other than the 2 different ranch wagons, all others could be ordered with a far rear seat to increase passenger capacity from 6 to 9. It seemed Ford had a car for literally every full-size buyer in 1961, and in all price ranges too. 1961 in the full-size lineup gets very interesting when discussing engines. Many of Ford's models that year had the 223 cubic inch Mileage Maker 6 as standard equipment. It put out 135 horsepower and was perfect for fleet buyers and those who wanted to drive a more economical car. Next up was the 292 V8. It was the base V8 if a V8 was specified, and was the only Y-block to carry on in both cars and trucks after 1957 until it was dropped completely in 1962 for passenger cars and 1964 for trucks. Next up, the 352 was an FE engine, first seen in 1958, and by 1961 a very popular and reliable V8 churning out 220 horsepower. But for performance fans, the new for 61 390 engine was available in several flavors. The standard, the Thunderbird type engine making 300 horsepower with a Ford-designed 4-barrel carburetor. At 30 more horsepower, a buyer could specify a Police Interceptor, complete with a solid lifter camshaft, factory cast iron headers, a Holley 4-barrel, and an aluminum intake manifold, to name just a few of the goodies. Finally, an all-out performance 375 horse 390 could be optioned, and a few weeks later, Ford upped that to 401 horses, which was essentially the same engine with the newly developed tri-power setup, which arrived to dealers in the trunk and had to be installed in the service department. The biggest problem with all these Hypo 390s wasn't performance. Oh no, they had plenty of that, but the non-availability of a 4-speed manual transmission. Best they had was either their Cruise-O-Matic 3-speed or column-mounted 3-speed or 3-speed overdrive Borg-Warner built gearboxes. Neither did well for long with the heavy use one would think a car like this would see. It would be sometime in the 1962 model year that Ford finally offered a manual 4-speed. Made by Borg-Warner and identified as a T10, they'd be warranty nightmares for Ford behind any sort of performance engine, especially the 406 and 427 equipped models for the next 3 model years, until Ford designed their own transmission, the top loader. For many people, these cars had a satisfactory list of standard equipment, but for those that wanted more personalization, Ford offered many different comfort, convenience, and safety optional equipment a buyer could easily order. There was also a vast array of dealer-installed options for your car to make it a one-of-a-kind, and that could easily be installed and rolled into your monthly payment. The car seen at the Martin Auto Museum is a Fairlane Club sedan with a Hypo 390. Judging by its overall appearance, our best guess is the 375 or 401 horse 390, an easy swap from this car's original 292 engine. This hood was never available as a factory option in 1961. That teardrop hood scoop is characteristic of the 64 lightweight Galaxies or the Thunderbolts, both powered by a high-riser 427 center oiler. The scoop was intended to clear the taller induction system. When you see it, you can be sure that something pretty badass lurks underneath. It also has a tack and a 4-speed, things you'd expect to see in a performance car. The 61 full-size Ford line has always been one of our favorite years. The design was perfect, and it seemed like the fins of the previous year had nearly disappeared. They still look great all these years later. Tell us in the comments what your favorite year Galaxie is and why. Maybe you had one years ago, or maybe you're fortunate to have one now. Either way, we want to hear about it. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and like and share the video. Thanks for watching.